What's up, brand builders? Stephen Horahan here at BrandMasterAcademy.com, and in this video you're going to learn what competitive positioning is with top brand examples and types. So you can see how leading brands use strategy to influence their audience with competitive communication. Now, if you're new to the channel and you want to build brands that go beyond the visuals using strategy, psychology, and creative thinking, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. If you want to fast track your results, make sure you grab the Pro Brand Strategy Blueprint. It's a free download and the link is in the description. Now, the term competitive positioning sounds like an intimidating business term to describe a complex topic. And to add to the apparent complexity, you'll often hear the term used interchangeably with a number of equally complex sounding terms such as positioning strategy, differentiation strategy, or competitive differentiation. But semantics aside, these are all more or less the same topic, which is not that complicated at all. And once you understand it, then you can define a positioning strategy for your brand to give your brand a competitive edge and to maneuver it into a position of strength. But the reality is competitive positioning more often than not is overlooked or completely avoided by many entrepreneurs, business leaders, and even professional brand builders as well. It is the cornerstone of brand strategy, though the strategy of a brand is still a new concept to some, with many business leaders going for the easy and more cost-effective route, which is to develop a visual brand without considering a strategy. But as is often the case, there are consequences to taking shortcuts, and when it comes to branding, without a competitive positioning strategy, you just have a brand without a compelling reason for the audience to choose it. Now, in his time, Philip Kotler was defined as the father of modern marketing. And he defines competitive positioning as the act of designing the company's offering an image to occupy a distinctive place in the mind of the target market. Now, if we were to define it in a little more conversational language, then your competitive position is the defining reason that your customers choose your brand over your competitors. So what's the difference between competitive positioning and competitor positioning? Well, these two are often confused. Competitive positioning relates to the competitive edge of your brand, while competitor positioning relates to the competitive edge of the competition. So before defining your competitive position in the market, it is important that you understand who else is playing in the market and what their position is. For example, if car brand A has developed a reputation as the most economical in a category, then car brand B, rather than competing on that decision-making factor, might position themselves as the most reliable. So before defining an effective competitive positioning strategy, you have to really understand who the competitors are in the market and exactly what they're doing with their own strategy. So what is a positioning map? Well, this is also known as a perceptual map, a positioning matrix, a perceptual matrix. These are all really the same terms used interchangeably. They're all referring to this perceptual map or this competitive positional map. And it's simply a tool that allows brand strategists to compare decision-making factors and visualize the competitive landscape. The comparison allows for two decision-making variables to be considered with brands within the category. So you'll have a look at the decision-making factors within a certain category, and then you would plot the brands based on their reputation on that map. So for example, to visualize the economy family car market, we might use the positional map to consider fuel economy and reliability variables. Then you would plot the brands on that map based on the reputation in the market. Now, the positional map is a tool that's been around for many decades, and although it's not an exact science, it is a great way to visualize the market, to see where your competitors are playing and to identify gaps and opportunities. Now, when it comes to competitive positioning, there are many different approaches that a brand can use to position themselves in the market and to provide their audience with a compelling reason to choose them over their competitors. But the key is in understanding the buying decision factors that your audience places a high value on and creating a perfect combination to appeal to them. So here are some examples of competitive positioning approaches. Against brand positioning. Now, this approach uses another brand, another category, or another audience as a reference point of their difference. So this strategy essentially points the finger at their opposite and says, we're the opposite of these guys, whether that's a brand or a group of people. Now, it is a bold strategy, but it's a very effective one, especially if the audience has a beef with the point of reference. For example, the Dollar Shave Club indirectly used Gillette's expensive feature-heavy razors as a point of focus, and they highlighted the pain points of the audience, and then they offered them an alternative. The next example is experience positioning. Now, this approach puts a focus on the entire end-to-end experience of the brand rather than a single focal point or a single feature. Throughout any experience, there may be many different pain points that hamper the overall experience of the audience. And experience positioning tends to iron out these pain points and then communicates their absence to the whole market. And in doing that, they tell the market, look, our end-to-end experience is our unique point of difference. JetBlue was one of the first airlines to disrupt air travel in the US. Coming into a market where competitive fares and comfortable travel were mutually exclusive, JetBlue placed a focus on the entire experience. So competitive fares, extensive in-flight entertainment, comfortable leather seating, and additional legroom. They placed a focus on the entire end-to-end experience, and that's what they communicated to the market. Now, today, with all of the digital advantages that we have, it's pretty easy to start a business, but it's not enough to simply provide a solution to a problem. Every single business in the world has some kind of solution to some kind of problem. And, that's not enough anymore. Taking a competitive position forces you to look at the competitive landscape from the shoes of your audience. And if you spend enough time in the shoes of your audience and ask the right questions, you're far more likely to find a competitive position and ultimately an edge over your competition. Now, if you're ready to define a competitive position for your brand or for a client's brand, and you're looking for inspiration for an approach to that position, then this video will help you out. Until next time, brand like a master, and I'll see you in the next video.